Hello everyone, and welcome to my media center. My name is Kiefer, and today we recap and review Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I am beyond excited for this show, and have been since it got announced in 2021. It was originally showcasing MCU Spider-Man origin called Spider-Man Freshman Year, but now it's another universe of Spider-Man in the MCU. It has 80s/90s comic book style animation, and it's shaking things up big time. It even got renewed for 2 more seasons before the premiere even happened. But enough of me yapping. Let's get into Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 1, Episode 1, Amazing Fantasy. We open up the show with an establishing shot of Queens, New York with a clear Avengers Tower in the background. Peter Parker is late for school and Aunt May is yelling at him to wake up. He fell asleep with a copy of Amazing Adult Fantasy on his face. He rushes to get ready, falling on his face while putting pants on, and May packed his oatmeal and toast in a Ziploc to go. Yummers. He runs through the streets of New York, bumping into everyone, knocking stuff over, and misses his train. He opens his backpack up dramatically, and we hear a superhero sword start in the background, and he pulls out his breakfast. It looks so gross. May figured he would miss a train, so she drove behind him and takes him to school for his first day at Midtown High. The car has an Iron Man dangling down from the mirror, and when they park, Peter thanks May for stepping up when Ben passed and being amazing. Peter steps out of the car, ready to start the rest of his life, when a giant portal opens from the sky above him. A giant black furry monster that looks a lot like a Venom design falls out of the sky and starts to terrorize the students. Dr. Strange, who Peter doesn't recognize, comes to fight the creature. Strange realizes he is in the wrong universe, but continues to have a great fight scene with the Beast. Peter then saves a student named Nico from the Beast. When the monster turns to fight Peter, Dr. Strange saves him and gives Peter props for his bravery. When the portal closes, a spider flies out onto Peter, and while that happens, Peter introduces himself to Nico, and just then gets bit. The spider, still alive, crawls away to someone's backpack, and we cut to the intro. It's a remix of the classic Spider-Man animated show intro with a rap over it by Leo Bernberg and Zach Robinson. I'm not totally sure I pronounced that name right, but oh well. I'm a huge fan of this intro and the show so far. The animation is a huge plus for me. I was unsure of it when the trailer came out, but I dig it now. I like the voice acting so far. Everything is hitting good, so let's see where the show takes us. We cut to a few months later, this show skipping the learning stage of Peter and his abilities. Peter this time is able to jump into his pants midair, no problem, a great blink and you miss it callback and parallel to earlier in the show. And Peter's homemade suit is awesome. I love this origin suit for Peter. The look combined with the practicality is mwah. This version also seemingly does not have organic webbing, however he can stick to the walls, has super strength, and enhanced agility. I'm more of a fan of the organic webbing rather than synthetic, but it's not like a major miss for me. Peter also on the way to school gets absolutely demolished by a taxi, but he's okay. Peter swings to school and on the way saves Harry Osborn from 3 muggers. The fight gets live streamed by a mugger and Spider-Man kicks their asses. This fight scene, much like the one from earlier, is awesome. This one is also filled with good quips from Peter. Harry thanks Spider-Man and offers to Venmo him for saving him, but Spider-Man declines and Peter heads to school, of course late. At school, we establish Nico and Peter are now good friends, and Peter has a crush on a girl named Pearl. Pearl, who used to be his babysitter when Peter was 11 and a half. But Peter later in the day goes to the bathroom, but really he goes out and stops a speeding car. He jumps last second in between the car and a bus full of people, and gets applause from everyone nearby as the police show up. This amazing feat of strength gives Peter the guts to ask Pearl out, but he's too late. Pearl is now dating the star quarterback, captain of the football team, Lonnie Lincoln. Peter then gets paired up with him to be lab partners and ends up liking him a lot. They even listen to the same bands. We then follow Lonnie home and sees that he has it rough. He gets racially profiled on the bus, and when walking home gets trailed by the police for doing absolutely nothing. He clearly lives in a rougher part of the town, but seems to be a great kid. This adaptation clearly very different from the norm, but the show does that a lot, and I'm super excited to see what the writers do. I love this show so far. We also see in the background Spider-Man's in the newspaper, so he's gaining notoriety. Then we get my favorite scene of the first episode. Spider-Man returns the money to a man who got it stolen from him from a woman down on her luck. Spider-Man lets the woman explain everything and asks the store owner to give her another shot and let her go. And he does. This scene screams Spider-Man down to the bone, and I truly love it. Spider-Man gets free pizza from the store owner, and he swings away. Peter then walks home, finding a free DVD player, just lying on a dumpster, and sees a supercar parked outside of his apartment. He takes a selfie with it and posts it on something, Instagram? I don't know. And sitting on his couch with Aunt May is Norman Osborn, this being a direct rip from Captain America Civil War. Norman just replacing Tony Stark. And that ends the spectacular first episode of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I love this pilot. It hits all the boxes for me. Is it perfect? No, but it's an amazing start. It has the action, the choreography, the voice acting, the visuals, the comedic element, and it just screams Spider-Man. If the show continues this streak of amazingness from the first episode, this can be hands down my favorite animated Spider-Man television show. Or I guess just Spider-Man TV show. I think there was a live action one in Asia somewhere. Nonetheless, my favorite so far is Spectacular Spider-Man, and that is going to be crazy hard to beat, but I have faith in the show that it might do it. I give episode 1 an 8 out of 10 rating. Nothing bad, but nothing to blow me out of the water to get the extra 2 points. But what about episode 2? Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, season 1, episode 2, The Parker Luck. We open up right where we left off, Peter freaking out and May confused, not knowing who he is. Norman offers Peter internship at Oscorp because of how impressive he is with academics. Peter asks the right question, if it's paid or not, and Norman confirms he pays his employees very well. Norman tells him to come back to school and asks for Norman specifically. But it's the next day and it is beautiful out. Nice breeze, sunny sky, and Spider-Man webbing up a creep against a brick wall. He was taking photos of his neighbor, typing in her security code to her door. He pieces out and flips on his way to school. He's still clumsy, showing that he's still new to his powers, which I really dig. Peter walks into his halls and see the football team doing their good luck ritual, rubbing the championship trophy and flapping their arms like ravens before the game. Peter tells Lonnie about his new internship, and Lonnie makes Peter rub the trophy for good luck as well, but it's super sweaty from Mike's sweaty hands. He says that's why Mike always fumbles the ball. Peter's teacher, Rich Everhart, comes out into the hall, making Peter come to class, and then we cut to the game. The Midtown High Ravens are winning the game when Peter leaves for his internship, leaving Nico alone with Pearl. I kind of think Nico has a thing for Pearl. We'll see where that goes. He arrives at Oscorp, and the front desk worker doesn't believe he was supposed to see Norman and scolds him for not being 15 minutes early. He was only 2 minutes early, which for Peter, by the way, is like a miracle. Good job, Peter. He has Peter sign in and take his badge photo, which looks awful. Poor Peter. He gets sent to the lab on floor 17 and meets the rest of the interns. He meets Jean, who was a total bitch, Asha from Wakanda, and Amadeus. Asha being from Wakanda is very interesting because that means there's open travel from Wakanda and the rest of the world. I'm very interested to see if they explore that at all. Amadeus also shares a striking look to Amadeus Cho from the comics, who is a newer version of the Hulk. Asha is very dramatic and optimistic, while Amadeus is super duper cocky. Dr. Whitman walks in, who is just a prick, and his coworker, which we will meet in a few, doesn't think very highly of him either. Peter's internship is not going off very well. Peter asks Dr. Whitman when would be a good time to go see Norman because he asked Peter to, but again, no one believes him. Whitman is giving the forward lab tests and overseeing them to see how good they are and where they would best fit at Oscorp. Peter is hoping to go into the robotics section of Oscorp, but doesn't get there. Amadeus does, however. Peter gets to do energy research with Dr. Connors, that being Carla Connors. The show again deviating from the norm, but I am not against this. Normally I might be, but however this show has not given me a reason to doubt them so far. The two will be working on creating a new self-sustaining battery. They take a 15-minute break and Peter gets a call from Nico. The Ravens won the game and the two got invited to Mike's after party. Nico does not want to go without Peter, but Peter says he will be there. He's just finishing up at the lab. Peter meets up with the other three in the break room where Jean confirms Amadeus is Amadeus Cho. My theory is Oscorp will somehow turn him into a Hulk. This universe already has an established Avengers, confirmed being Iron Man, Hawkeye, Captain America, and I believe that is it so far. Doctor Strange is confirmed, but he's from a different universe. I really like how they are establishing the superheroes in the background. Jean then turns on the TV and flips through wrestling, Harry Osborn at a red carpet event, and then the news. Peter makes her stop on the news because there is a fire. He sees the building on fire and waits to see the details on where exactly it is. Peter then says he's gonna go to the bathroom, changes it into a spider suit in the stairwell. He jumps into the building and sees a guy setting the place ablaze. He says he made sure the building was empty first before he set it on fire, so good on him, I suppose. He was hired to do this and burn the whole block down so developers can buy it for cheap. And that would be, going great, except he's on the wrong street. He's on 52nd Street, not 51st. The two have a really great fight scene using fires webs in such a cool way. Spider-Man kicks him out of the building into a nearby pet shop and then apologizes because he doesn't know his own strength yet. And this is an amazing location for a fight scene like this. Spider-Man now has to save all the pets from the pet shop from the fire and stop the fire setter himself. And he does this while quipping to perfection. That's my Spider-Man. Spider-Man knocks him out and webs back to his internship, now being dangerously late. It was just supposed to be a 15-minute break, and I think he's now about over a half hour gone. And we see Connors getting chewed out by Witter for Peter being late, and Carla is even lying for Peter, saying it's her fault. Peter walks in, very clearly not where Carla said she was. clearly not where Carla said he was, and Willie chews him out too. And in the middle of it, the receptionist from earlier walks in saying Norman Osborn wants to see Peter. He says his goodbye to everyone there, Carla apologizing, and Peter walks into Norman's office. And while that's happening, we see Nico at the party sad that Peter didn't show up. And when she goes to leave, Mike spills beer on her. A great callback to him having sweaty hands. Poor Nico. Peter Parker approaches Norman Osborn, seeing photos on the wall of him with Captain America. And Peter starts apologizing and begging Norman to keep his job. Norman then turns one of the monitors to CCTV footage of Peter in the stairwell changing into the Spider-Man suit. And says to end the episode, "So, you're Spider-Man?" What a wild card ending. I was not expecting Norman to find out his identity that fast, let alone anyone know his identity. I love that, of course, Oscorp has cameras everywhere. Of course he saw this happen in the stairwell. I have many ideas to where this could lead, but let me know your theories in the comments down below. I like this episode the same amount as the first. This show stuck the landing on its debut in an amazing way. It's another 8 out of 10 for me. Let me know what you think of the show in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all the YouTube stuff. Follow my Twitch, link in description. I stream on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Follow me on all my socials and buy the merch. I have been Kiefer. I hope to see you in the next video, and don't forget to stay hydrated.